Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. My name is Steve Murray with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We're going to hear from the coach, Dave Pimper. We're going to talk about Social Security claiming. As some of you may know, because I know we have some folks that are coming in for second or third time for this webinar. This is easily one of our most popular webinars because it is such a popular subject matter. There's a lot of information that Dave makes available during the course of this webinar that I think can help you, not just on Social Security claiming, but on different ways to make that Social Security claiming beneficial to your current clients and to your business as a whole. So really like what we do here, and hopefully as I look at the group, I think a lot of you agree that there's a lot of great information. So thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Steve Murray, president here, Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We're going to be joined in a moment by Dave Pimper. I want to make sure my screen is working the way it should be. Hopefully, yeah, looks like you all have a view to what I'm showing. We're going to go ahead and move in here right now. One thing I wanted to mention to you is if a poll pops up, we're just looking for your quick input. Is it something you're interested in or not? Just give me a quick yes or no. I appreciate that. If you have any questions, type them in, hit send, and we'll get them asked and answered. Most of the questions that I get when we do Social Security webinars are like, hey, I've got a client that blah, blah, blah. So they're very specific and individual. I would prefer, if possible, for those types of questions, that if you make an appointment to speak with Dave, that you save those questions for a one-on-one. They often get more complicated, and we don't often get exactly the right answer that you would when you're having a nice one-on-one conversation with Dave to make sure that we're hitting the right in the right note for you. So I think that's the better way to do that. But if you have questions about the webinar itself, or seminars, or radio, or how you get more Social Security knowledge, things like that, those we'll be glad to answer those as quickly as possible. I know we've got the phones ringing in the background here, but hopefully you all can hear me fine. In fact, I'm going to take a quicker look at my audio. Yeah, it looks like our audio is good. And so advance the slide before I meant to there. New producer builders, these are ways that here at IAMS during your first 180 days that we basically put our marketing reimbursement on steroids and give you a little extra special bump for your business in your first 180 days. And you can see on there's some things that are just incentive based, a trip to Ritz-Carlton for you and your guest, but most of them are built to build your production. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. We talk about radio, we talk about seminars, we talk about mailings, we talk about workshops, all kinds of different ways that we want to help you grow your business. And there are actually some cash options in there as well. What I would say in general is that we're most interested in things that we can do for you to help you grow your business. You may know some of those better than we do, and if you have an idea that you want us to contribute toward, we will do that as well. That would be a call to your sales director and say, hey, I'm up to $1 million or 750,000 or 500,000, and this is what I want to do. What will you guys contribute towards that? So we'll definitely have that conversation. In fact, we look forward to them. So whatever we can do to help you grow your business at all is in your first 180 days of being appointed with us with any carrier. The other couple ways that we send some money out to our regular producers and our referees and referrers is our marketing reimbursement and our referred producer program. These are two ongoing programs we've had around forever. The core of the success of our business over the last 35 years here at IAMS has really been around referrals from one producer to another. And so we appreciate those. About 12 years ago, we started rewarding those with the RPM money. And you can see the way that works. If your referrer gets appointed with us, we're going to send you a check. If they start doing business, we're going to send you ongoing checks. You're going to receive a bonus on their business of about 20 basis points on the annuity side. And you're thinking, how does that work? But if you look at the checks that go out, there's some of the larger ones that we pay out each actually we do those quarterly. Some of the larger checks that we send out on a quarterly basis. So we appreciate your referrals. We're going to say thank you for those, but more importantly, from your standpoint, we're also going to send you monetary reward of thanks for doing business. Marketing reimbursement is a simple program. When you do business, money goes into an account. When you spend money to market to grow your business, you send us a receipt and we'll match your spend dollar for dollar. So basically puts your marketing dollars, kind of doubles the value of them. And so if you have a question on what your current account might be or how your account gets totaled up and added to, give your sales director a quick call and have he or she walk you through that. want to make sure that you are all aware of the single sign-on we have for our e-app. Many of you know Firelight is the most common, I don't want to say exclusive, but close to exclusive email provider in the annuity realm. So whether you're working with Equitrust or Athene or Ocean View or American Life and Casualty, whatever company that you're working with, likely their application, e-app, is on the Firelight platform. What we did, luckily, about 2.5 years ago now, is we put a single sign-on to that. So any of the carriers that offer the Firelight e-app, you can now get to through the IMS portal. So what that does is save you the time of going to multiple carrier portals. It keeps all of your e-apps in one location. So for instance, if you do an application with a client with Equitrust, now you want to do one with Athene, you can do a cut and paste and move that information over. Obviously, you have to have it verified by the client and re-signed by the client, but it really is a time saver. And we've had situations arise where a case goes in with one carrier, and for whatever reason, let's say they have a suitability issue, then you want to say, hey, what carrier might be interested in looking at that business? And now all of a sudden you're going from Equitrust to Athene, or Athene to Silac. You can do a cut and paste of that information quite easily, which you can't do if you did that on Athene's e-app portal or on Silac's e-app portal. So that's the beauty of going through the IMS e-app portal. Another thing is the ease of it. We can get you set up and signed on there in about 3 minutes. So if you have some interest in there, most of our guys now use our portal that do e-applications. If you're not doing e-apps, give that a run. I think you'll really like the e-app solution as a whole, and it's much easier when you have a single sign-on through our portal. Think of the creative marketing team as your advertising team. If you haven't talked to your sales director and talked about what they can do for you and how they can do it, and we try and do as much as we can pro bono. We try and minimize expense wherever we can, because our interest is in helping you grow your business. So think of them as an advertising firm that's biased towards helping you as cheaply as possible. And then if you look at them that way and say to your sales director, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I need. A lot of that stuff has already been done. That's all they do. They're an advertising company basically that just works with folks to do what you do for a living. So they're very tuned in to your business and glad to help you. And so I hope, if you haven't taken advantage of them at all, I hope that you will. Retirement Analyzer is a solution that we have used for about, I'm trying to remember when I first met Steve and Beth, but it's probably been about 16 years ago. And we've been offering their product, and you can see before you on the screen kind of what their illustrations look like, and you can see some of the questions that you can help your client answer. Here's what I'll mention to you all is, in terms of the input put in and the output that you get out in terms of quality for your client, is second to none. There's not a better product. It is easier to get the input information in and get a good, valuable output for your client. That's why we like it. Now, beyond that, because they've become a bit of a standard in the industry, a lot of things link up with them. So that makes your life a little bit easier. There's a lot of hookups that you can get where you can have information all automatically kind of portaled into the system, which is really nice. There's great training available on their website. And since we've been using them for so long, Marcus here in the office uses them a lot. So he can actually help you through that process. And we, as you can see before you on the screen, we're going to take care of that. If you're doing business with us, we take care of that expense for you, which is saves you $70, $80, $90 a month. And we can help you through the input. So we support it and sponsor it because we think it works, and we've seen it work for many of our top producers. There are some of our guys that just now, with their ABC level clients, won't even have a conversation with them that doesn't involve doing this analysis for them. It's a really great piece to grow your relationship with your client. Makes it less of a case by case and more of a holistic entire approach to helping them meet their goals. So obviously it makes you more important to them, and that's what we're all for here. We want to make you indispensable to your client. And I think you can find, if you look at that Retirement Analyzer package, I think you can see how that could happen. IMS Wealth Management, I'm going to put up a quick poll here. This is the first of a couple polls that we have. And while I'm putting it up, I'm going to mention a couple of things. IMS Wealth Management, there we go. It if you don't have your Series 65 and you need some assistance in getting that process, we've got a great team. That's there. We built IAMS Wealth Management by working with a lot of folks that are insurance only based. So they come from that background, and we've helped them do the training that they need to get into the wealth management business. And they would tell you that it's literally made a night and day difference in their lives. I'm going to tell you that with the DOL and where they're headed from a regulatory standpoint, it's going to be more and more important that you have the ability to handle other than just the insurance part of your client's portfolio. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can refer it to someone else in your area. You can refer it to IAMS Wealth. In a lot of states, we can help you with that. Or you can get that 65. We'd love to help you with that. If you have interest, put yes on that poll. It's about a 5-minute conversation. I'll walk you through what the testing procedures are. Many of you may not have to take the test if you're CFP or CHFC or CLU. Sometimes that eliminates the need to take a test at all. And let's say you have your Series 65 and maybe you're not happy with the current RIA. I would put yes on that poll. Our payouts are just a little over 1%. Our fees, I get great feedback from everyone that does business over on that side that our fees are very reasonable to begin with, and you get a lot for them. So you're going to get a website, you're going to get a database, you're going to get your E&O covered, you're going to get all the support better than maybe what you're used to from your average RIA. So that's of interest to you. Give us a yes on that poll. I'd encourage you all. It looks like there's 2 of you that haven't voted yet. If we can vote real quick, that would be helpful to me. And we'd love to help you grow that part of your business. I will tell you that if you decide, if you're if that's not part of your business and you've ever considered it, now would be a great time to do it, as you're going to hear about over the next 6 to 8 months as we close out this year and start next year. There's going to be a lot more enforcement of the DOL regulation that was passed right after Biden took office. It was basically the Trump era regulation, and then they're going to layer regulation on top from there. That's going to make it increasingly important over the next couple of years that you have the opportunity to offer other than just insurance as part of your business. We want to help you with that. So I'm going to close that poll out. We have one person that didn't yet vote. That's okay. If it's because of an inability to vote, just give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. If you've got a technical difficulty, or maybe you're just listening and not watching at all, give us a call at 800-255-5055. If you have interest, we'll put you in touch with that crew. I'm going to close that poll out. Thank you all that were able to vote. I appreciate that. Let's get moving here. I want to make sure that you're all aware of our Top Producers Summit. So you can see before you the itinerary. We're going to start in Rome. We're going to end up in Venice. In between, we're going to sail down the coast of Italy and then come back up between Italy and Greece, Montenegro, and Croatia. It's kind of the strait that you come back up, and we're going to end up back in Venice. Great cruise. We're going to head out with on the beautiful Riviera. It's an Oceania cruise line boat, and we're going to head out the last week in August, and we're going to be coming back to the U.S. on Labor Day weekend in 2022. Great timing for that. Looking forward to having all of our folks enjoy all the luxury that goes normally with the Oceania cruise line. They're very, very upper end cruise line to begin with, and we're going to put everybody up on the concierge level. Everybody is going to have a balcony, which is going to be pretty nice because you're going to be able to see things. There's not a lot of what I would call straight open sea days. You're always going up and down a coastline on this trip. So we'd love to have you join us. If you haven't already begun to make plans, hopefully you will. Life and Annuity Academy, we've got one coming up Wednesday through Friday. Next one will come up early next year. If you have interest in joining us on a Life and Annuity Academy, I want you to give your sales director a call and have them send you current information. There's a lot going on at our academies that are basically designed around sales and marketing. There's some product stuff for sure. We'll talk about some product because you can't not do that, but most of it is going to be, hey, how do you get in front of more people? How do you grow your practice? How do you help your current clients more to get more business from them and to be of higher value to them? And it's 2.5 days. So you come in on a Wednesday, leave on a Friday. We'll take care of your expenses. We're going to take care of your hotel and your meals and your flights. You're going to meet about 40 to 45 other producers like yourself that are at the upper end in our business. They're going to be that top 20% of producers in the business to begin with. So it's great to share ideas with them. You're going to hear from 3 top producers. You're going to hear from some trainers in the industry that are among the best out there. And you're also going to hear from the IM staff and from some of our lead generating and appointment generating, so you can be on the cutting edge of that. So if you have interest in joining us for Academy, what I'd really like you to do is and I'm going to take this poll down quick. So this is a quick yes or no. Go ahead and put a yes or no on there as quickly as possible, because I'm going to close that out here in about 30 seconds. And if you put yes, what's going to happen is you're going to get a registration form. You can then pick and choose among our academies for 2022 and see which one fits for you. If you put no, we won't bother you. It's okay. We've got honestly, we've been doing those academies for the past 17, 18 years now, and become, I think, among the industry's most sought after events because of the sales and marketing information that you get. So thank you all for voting. Looks like we have the same couple of people that are unable to vote or have chosen not to vote. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out. All right. Follow us or like us. There is some stuff available on LinkedIn and Facebook. On our LinkedIn and Facebook pages, it is not available any other places. Some nice white papers and sales and marketing packages. So you might go into LinkedIn and do a search for insurance agency marketing services and follow us, and then you'll start getting that information. Do the same thing on Facebook. Go in, and I think you can follow us there pretty much the same way. So we're going to talk now about Social Security maximization with the coach. Dave Pimper has been coaching with us for about 15 years. Met him on the Alaskan cruise. He was on the back of the boat having a cigar. We sat and talked about his business. He obviously is a top producer in his own right, qualified for the cruise with his own production, but we got to talking about his business in general, the coaching aspect of his business. At that time, we talked mostly about practice management, but since then he's added seminars, Social Security claiming, and radio. So it helped many of our producers reach higher levels of production than they think that they ever thought that they could reach. And so really, really great addition to the quiver of arrows that we make available to our producers to grow their business. It's really been important for us to have that type of coaching specifically around Social Security claiming, because what we determined about 12 years ago, and it was honestly, it was a little bit defensive, where some of our competitors had that, and we wanted to get that in place. And so Dave and I talked about it, and he's really made himself an expert. There are very few questions that you could ask Dave on Social Security claiming that he can't answer off the top, and very, in fact, none that he can't get you the answer to in relatively short order, because he knows where to look for the answers that are not coming right off the top of his head. So really great resource for us for years and years. Happy to have him around Social Security claiming. And I'm not only going to talk about the ins and outs of Social Security claiming, we're going to talk a little bit about the ways that you can apply that to your current clientele to raise the value to them, and then also apply that to meeting more and more new people, whether it's via seminars, radio, or just referrals. So looking forward to hearing from Dave. Dave's going to run through kind of the top 5 or 6 things you need to know about Social Security claiming that I think will probably help you with about 60 to 70% of the client questions you might come up and that you might have with a client. And then we'll have some opportunity to get the information that you need to answer any and all questions that come up, and to make that information valuable to you, to prospects. So Dave has been in the business since the early 80s, 525, 30 plus seminars, radio for the past 25 years. I've been doing radio, Retirement Boss Radio, which is a show that he developed specifically for us for about the past 3.5 years, and has seen success beyond what we ever expected to see there as well. So I'm going to turn it over to the coach, Mr. Dave Pimper. Dave, you out there?
I am. You're very kind, Steve.
I'm honest. I am honest, Dave.
Well, thank you for everybody for coming on the line with us today. This is be a 30-minute presentation, so it isn't going to take a lot of time, but a lot of great information. We'll be done right at 10 till the top of the hour, and then we'll take any questions at that time that you have. My name is Dave Pimper. I've been in the business for 40 years, since 1981, and Social Security claiming I've really understood and have expertise in that arena, in the last 10 or 11 years. One of the questions here that you got to ask yourself is why You, the advisor, should understand Social Security claiming. Because you're thinking, how do I make money from Social Security claiming? If we're giving out information that basically you can get for free from the Social Security Administration. Well, you can't get it for free. You actually can't get advice from the Social Security Administration and get the highest benefit right now. So what we're going to do, follow with this. I mean, we've got a lot of really, really good information that we are going to go through. I got to make sure, Steve, if you're there, I got to be able to put the slides forward. That will help my presentation. There we go. Thank you very much. Yeah, it says most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. Let me read that again. Most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security by Sarah O'Brien from CNBC. I'll read it to you. A majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor. Even if they work with a financial advisor. That shows you how strong it is to really understand something that 96% of all Americans that are retirement age have or is available to. This is a quiz, and we're going to take a quiz today. You're going back to school, okay? It's a 5-minute quiz, 5 questions. And this is from SimplyWise, which is a online kind of financial analytics on the website or on the internet. And they ask a Social Security test only 1 in 300 seniors could ace. Then I put in, how about you? How about the agent, the insurance agent, the financial advisor? Let's see how you deal on those 5 questions. So I actually want you to take this test with me. Okay? So here's the first question. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Okay, write down the answer. Ready? You have to claim at age, not full retirement age, but age 70. For an individual person, to maximize your benefit, you must wait to 70. Second question. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Write your answer down. Here we go. 60. Only 9% of the people knew that answer. Number 3, does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for a spousal benefit? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Answer? Yeah, they do. Now, there's 4 things that you've got to know about. There's 4 things, okay? So if you can guess 2 of the 4 kind of stipulations, I'm going to give this answer to you. So what has to line up? 2 of the 4 stipulations. Here we go. Write down 2 of the 4. Write down all 4 if you know them. First of all, you have to be unmarried. Well, I'll do this. See if it. First of all, you have to be unmarried. Second thing is that you've got to be your spouse has to be at least 62. Your marriage had to last. This is spousal. I'm sorry about that. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? And the answer just is yes, it does. So we'll talk about divorce here in a second. No stipulations there, my bad. Can divorced spouses, here we go. Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yes or no? Here we go. Yep. Now, if 4 stipulations are met. So if you guess 2 of the 4, I had to set them out. 2 of the 4. And here's the 4 benefits. Marriage lasts at least 10 years. X at least 60, or you're currently unmarried. Your X is 62. divorce was 2 years or longer ago. Married at least 10 years. Unmarried. Your spouse can be married, but you're unmarried. X is at least 62. Divorce was at least 2 years or longer ago. Last one. Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? True or false? Yes or no? Here we go. Yeah. If the four stipulations are met, we would know this. If you guess yes or said yes, I'm giving you this answer. Because remember, your marriage lasts at least 10 years or longer. You're currently unmarried. Your ex is 62 or older, and the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. So how did you do on that quiz? If you got them all right, you're doing good. If you didn't guess on them, but you knew the answers, yeah, you're doing good. If you got 1, 2, or 3, you probably need some help. And the one thing that we're doing at IAMS and with coaching with myself, Dave Pimper, is that there's 3 ways you can learn Social Security through us. 3 different ways. One is Social Security seminars. You know, we've got 2 different people doing them tonight, and we've got quite a few are on the books right now. I think we had 40 some attendees on one, and the other one, I know we had for signing up, quite a few people signing up. And so I know that Phil, a producer up in the Northeast, about 3 weeks ago had a Social Security, and he got 17 appointments out of it. So, but we coach Social Security. If you don't know it, I coach you. I say we, my office, but I'm the one that coaches 3 Social Security coaching sessions. $2,500. If you're not getting in front of enough people, you need to. And Retirement Boss Radio, which is being your own radio host for an hour recorded show, proprietary to IAMS. Dave Pipper, the coach, put it together. It's slick, very slick. Runs anywhere. There's an hour show per week, and we want to get 10 or more appointments. Last week I got 4 appointments. 4 appointments. Last month I got 21 appointments from Retirement Boss Radio. And what happens is you be your own radio host. Maybe the cost. It runs probably between $3,000 and $4,000 all in. But you're on the radio for an hour, having your own show. It's a turnkey. I coach you up on Social Security if you don't know, because about a quarter to a third of all calls coming in are Social Security calls. So I coach you up, or you can just do it a la carte. You just pay me to coach you. You don't want any marketing. Don't want to get any in front of people. Put that outlay of investment money. Yeah, 4 coaching sessions for $800. But learning Social Security, understanding Social Security is key. Absolute key. So this slide from Jana Heron in the USA Today a couple of years ago says, doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. That's a lot of dough, Mo. $100,000. How much you're claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Bullet point 2. Retirees will lose an average. Get a load of this: $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Bullet point 3. Overall, only 4% of all retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. I want to read that again. Listen to it closely. Overall, only 4%. That means 96% of the people took it at the wrong time. That's wild. And that's how we people, very much so. If you have a question, type it in. Yeah, Social Security started in 1935 by FDR. You could only be 65 in the beginning. Now you can be as early as 62 at a reduction. You could wait until 70 for an increase. But back then, the only time you could take it when it started was age 65. And unbelievably, longevity age was only 62. Automatic cost of living allowances started in 75. Taxation started in 83. Higher taxation in 93. The last major reform was in 2015 with the Bipartisan Budget Act. How important is Social Security? Darn important. Almost 60% of all retirees count Social Security as the or one of the major sources of income. Let me say that again. 59% of retirees count on their Social Security as a major source of income. Wow. Three important ages or dates to Social Security. This is Social Security 101. Full retirement age, depending on the year you're born, is somewhere between 66 and 70. You get early as 62. If you take earlier than full retirement age, what's the good thing? You get the benefit now. What's the bad thing? It's reduced for life. If you wait longer than full retirement age and you can wait as long as up to 70, what's the good thing? It's increased. The bad thing, you're not getting it now, but it's increased for the rest of your life. So that is really something when you start talking about Social Security of how to maximize it. Any questions? Certainly, just type it in, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Okay. Now, can it have a huge value? Darn right it can, if you claim at your right time. And I always say not the right time, not a right time, but claiming at your right time. I'll say something else. If you're coaching with me, we go through each one of those slides much slower, much more in depth. We role play. And I'm a big believer if you know the kind of individual benefit, spousal benefit, divorced spouse, survivor, and restricted application, those five important things, you know by far the majority of Social Security claiming. So what happens here is the balance now is about 2.8 trillion. It ran a net increase last year, but if it keeps going, we'll probably run a deficit this year. First time since 1983. It's a long time ago. And that 2.8 trillion will start declining, and it will be done in 2034, which is only 12 and a half years away. So are there ways to go in and to save this? Yeah, by more taxation and or changing the ages. The ages. And there'll probably be something of both of those. But is it going bankrupt? Well, the Social Security Trust Fund could remember the 6.2% of payroll taxes you pay and the 6.2 your employer pays keeps it going. So it's not a Ponzi scheme. It is funded mainly by payroll taxes, and the government has borrowed against those bonds. There's IOUs in there now, but the government IOUs are just like what backs the U.S. current dollar. There's no gold or silver or platinum or bonds. It's backed by IOUs. So I'm not concerned about that, and you shouldn't be either. So how do you figure out your Social Security benefit? Well, first of all, you got to have 40 quarters of coverage or 40 credits. Each one of those coverage credits or credit coverages, you have to have at least a minimum of $1,470. If you make $1,470 in any quarter, you get another quarter of credits for Social Security. That's if you make $5,880 in a year, you just made 4 quarters. You do that for 10 years, you get yourself a benefit. If you have 39 quarters, you don't get a benefit. That also affects the amount that you pay for Medicare. Pay much more if you don't have your benefit in. They take your 35 highest inflation adjusted years, inflation adjusted with COLA. That's how you figure out your Social Security benefit. If you're born from 1943 to 54, your full retirement age is 66. I was born in 55. My full retirement age is 66 years and 2 months. If I was born in 56, 4 months. 57, 6 months. 1960 year later, full retirement age is 67. Everyone's retirement age is 66 to 67. Okay? Now, what happens is that at full retirement age, you get the full benefit. The full benefit. If you take early, it's reduced. Applying before, it's reduced somewhere between 25 and 30% if you take at 62. And then it stair steps up to the full benefit of full retirement age. and that's for life. Okay? If you wait later than full retirement age, you're basically going to make 8% more guaranteed by the U.S. government, not counting COLA. That's on top of that. Big benefit when you wait for that, you know, it's 2/3 of 1% a month or 8% a year for every year you wait past your full retirement age. Big deal. So let's talk about the spousal benefit. First of all, with the spousal benefit, let's say Dave's PIA, for example. PIA stands for primary insurance amount. That is the amount you get at full retirement age. And Amy's PIA is 1,000. Dave's 2,400. Amy's is 1,000. Dave takes his. Amy takes hers. Dave gets a 2,400. Amy has the option. She can take all of hers or half of Dave's, whichever is higher. So in this illustration, what is higher? Half of Dave's. Half of Dave's is 1,200. So really, what she gets there, she gets one check, but it's divided in two parts. She gets 1,000 of her own individual Social Security benefit and $200 top up of a spousal benefit. That's how spousal benefits work. How about divorced spouses? Tons of people miss this benefit. Remember the marriage had the last 10 years? Currently unmarried, ex at least 62, had the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. If all of those stars and moons line up, you can claim your spouse, ex, even if you don't like them. You can claim them as if you're still married to them in the eyes of Social Security. And both can claim each other. You can double dip here. It doesn't affect the spouses in any way. In fact, the spouse doesn't even need to know about it. But you can claim as if you're still married, which is important because there are many more options, not always, but many times more options available than if you're single. My wife always says no one ever gets out of here alive. Physically, that's true. Spiritually, may not be the case, but physically, dead as doornails, every one of us sometime in the future. Who normally dies first? Guy, 75% of the time. Not fair, but that's the truth. So Dave's benefits $2,000, Amy's benefits $1,200. Dave dies first, as he does the male 75% of the time. What happens here is that Dave's benefit of $2,000 now is available to Amy if she requests it. If she doesn't, she's just going to get $1,200. She can drop her benefit and jump up to the $2,000 if she elects to. She can't double dip and take both of them, one or the other, but it has to be requested. Also, and not counting earnings, if the person's earning above $18,960, which comes into play on an earnings test, but you could go in and you could take the widow's benefit and let yours grow and grow and grow and grow and grow all the way to 70. You could take your benefit and let the widow's benefit grow and grow up to full retirement age. So there's some different kind of file and suspend that you can do here with the survivor benefit. Pretty gracious on what their options are. Coordinating spousal benefits is called restricted application. File and suspend went away back in for the 2015 Bipartisan Budget Act in 2016, got phased out over 6 months. But to take restricted application, you must be born before January the 2nd in 1954. That puts you like 66 years and 10 months old. If you're 66 years or 10 months between the age of that and 70, you could do restricted. Then it phases out completely, actually January 2nd of 2024. So what happens is, let's talk about this. It's pretty cool. It's a loophole. For this hypothetical, Dave and Amy are both age 66, both full retirement age. Dave's primary insurance amount, the amount at full retirement age is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Here's what happens. Let's say that Amy takes benefit. She has to in this scenario. She takes that $1,000. What happens is that Dave's PIA, that $2,400, say he wants to let it grow to the age of 70. Well, good for Dave. but he can do something called a restricted application where he actually lets it grow, but because he restricts it, he can take a spousal benefit loophole that they're closing, but still available to people if the principal taker, not the spouse, but the principal taker, the person who subscribes to it, was born before January 2nd in 1954. Amy takes her 1,000. Dave gets a spousal benefit of 500, which is $6,000 a year, as his 2,400 grows 8% in COLA each year to do it all the way to 70. That's 6,000 a year, 12,000 in 2 years. Free money. Get a load of this. Only 0.7% of all people take advantage of this rule. Why? They don't know about it. No one tells them. We will. No one tells about it. Pretty cool. Called restricted application. What can't Social Security do? Well, they can't give advice. We do. They can't. I called before I got in the business back years ago, I called my lawyer, my CPA, my accountant. All were getting up in age, in their 50s, early 60s. I mean, all of them. Okay? Been around for 30, 40 years doing their profession. And I asked them, would someone ask about Social Security advice? What do they have? I really want to know, do they have it? And all of them said no. And then what was interesting to me, which came up to me unasked, I said, yeah, we refer everyone to the Social Security Administration. They can't give advice. They could give you highest benefit right now. They can't scenario plan. They can't ask you about what assets you have. They can't ask you about what income streams you have. They can't ask you what about your health and how long you think you'll live. There's multiple things that to be asked to get the right benefit. They can't ask it. In fact, this is right from their program's operational manual system, number D. Their manual says, for the workers of Social Security Administration, provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices but do not give advice. Wow. Isn't that something? So, you know what? Should you consider all your income streams before you claim Social Security? Darn right you should. It's not a standalone income stream. It's the most flexible of all the income streams. Claiming at not the right time, but your right time. And when you're looking at break-evens, don't forget about the survivor benefit. Break-evens is much sooner if you figure the survivor benefit. What are the 5 pillars of income? Wages, pensions, income-producing assets, RMDs on traditionals, IRAs, 401ks, etc., and then Social Security, the most flexible. I use this as a fact finder. How much money do I make off of bullet points 1, 2, 4, and 5? None. But I uncover number 3 like I just did a dormant 401k last week. Last Friday, 192,000. I got an appointment on next Monday. I was just doing the proposal for it, 345,000. I did another 280,000 last week. All of those worked around Social Security. I just cannot tell you, if you don't really understand Social Security, now is a great opportunity for you. 3 different ways. Yeah, you can do it by seminar, by radio, by marketing, or by just a standalone. If you have any questions, and we're just about done, go ahead and just type them on in. So people want to know when I should claim, but there's all kinds of benefits, all kinds of questions to ask, 2,700 rules to completely get you confused. There's just a lot to consider before you claim.
Okay.
So are you done? Yep, I said 3 different ways: seminar, marketing, Retirement Boss Radio, and then of course Social Security session. And I'm sorry for the background on this. Okay. All right, and then we've got, so there's an old line and it says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really should practice it. Perhaps I'll stop tomorrow. So what happens is that, and again, I apologize for the background noise. I think he probably thinks he's muted, but I'll tell you right now, Steve, are you there? Hey, Steve? Okay, he is there, yeah. Okay. I was just saying it got kind of loud in the background. You weren't muted. But you know what?
Oh,
What happens here is Steve's going to go in. He's going to put the poll up. I do apologize about that background noise.
that
But,
was my
it
fault.
does.
Yep.
That's right. It says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes. If you heard, the reason I bring that up, people who procrastinate normally aren't the most successful. I've never had anybody come to me and say, Dave, you know what? I got rich from procrastinating. So if you heard something on this webinar today, absolutely mark yes here. If you want more information, we meet on the phone. It's not with one of my assistants, it's myself. We sit down, talk for 15, 20 minutes, kind of see what you're doing and see what your marketing looks like and see what your knowledge is on Social Security claiming. And that test, if you took it, it gives you a pretty good intro. I mean, if you got more than 3 questions correct, you probably know quite a bit. If you didn't guess, you probably know quite a bit, but most people that won't be the case. I'd love to coach you up on Social Security. I know we have some questions, so Steve, I'll turn this over to you and kind of let you handle it from here.
Thank you, Dave. And I do apologize for I had the door open because we're in the midst of I think I mentioned our Life and Annuity Academies. We're right in the heart of getting prepared for that. It's always a little hectic around here. So I should have either done better with my mute button or close that door.
That's
My
okay.
apologies. Thank you all for bearing with us through that. There are a couple questions, and I did mention today, Dave, as I started off, if we could limit those, there are going to be some personal ones that people want to touch base with you. And it looks like everybody is wanting to take a few minutes with you, which is great. Everybody's saying yes to the poll, which is great. But there are so a copy of the presentation. Everyone that attended today is going to get an option. They're going to get an email that's going to say, hey, if you want to hear this presentation again, you can hear it because we record them and we put them on our YouTube channel. So it'll be available to you in that format. So you can always re-access that. Dave, you better talk about seminars in a little bit more detail. There's 3 or 4 questions here on how the seminar works. Social Security seminar, what do we talk about? Things like that. Can you just run through what you make available to everybody and kind
Yeah.
of a little bit of the pricing?
Yeah. So it's with this seminar, it is a proprietary seminar. I put the seminar together on Social Security claiming, 44 slides. So you get the PowerPoint. With that, you also get coaching from me for 3 coaching sessions. Okay, they're 45-minute sessions. All the attachments, you're going to have 25 or 30 attachments that you get. You have all, like in the packet, we get all of our information, all of the handouts. I mean, it's a turnkey A through Z system. Okay, what happens is all the slides have language. I wrote the language in instructional, educational language, so it isn't just facts. It's kind of the insight. Um, and that Social Security, um, it takes about an hour. If you're quick, it might take 50 minutes. If you're slow, maybe an hour or 5 minutes, but it takes about an hour to do. With that, I coach you up on, unless you really understand Social Security claiming, but I coach you up on Social Security claiming. I mean, the ins and outs. I go through some of those slides were the ones that we saw today on the webinar, and we have 3 sessions. So most of the time, those sessions are on Social Security claiming. There's a little bit on the actual seminar itself, things to do, not to do. I've given 540 public seminars, and I mean, when you've done that many of them, you kind of got it down pat. And it's a big part of my business. So if you're not in front of enough people, you want to learn Social Security, yeah, $2,500, and you're guaranteed 35 people who sign up. That's a guarantee. 35 people who sign up is the absolute guarantee. You're seeing after the kind of the bad COVID, the lockdown, shelter in places. You're not seeing many firms offering still a guarantee, and we are. So $2,500, and it is 35 guaranteed um, um, people who sign up. So that's pretty much it. But it's hands-on, and the coaching, you really learn Social Security, which is a pretty cool thing because most people don't have a background in Social Security claiming.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Dave, because that looks like that was a couple of the questions was regarding, hey, how do I get the knowledge around Social Security? But it's nice too to mention that you've got the whole presentation. And Social Security seminars really, and Dave would attest to this because he's done probably, have you done more than 100 Social Security seminars by now, Dave?
I would say right at there, right at 100. Yep, yep.
Yeah, right in that range. And, it is, I've seen them, and he would certainly be glad to make if you're interested in doing the seminar, make a video of his seminar available so that you can see what it looks like. But it is, there's not a lot of questions. It's teacher student type of format, usually done in that type of a setting, whether it's a local school or a library type setting. So of all the seminar systems that you could, if you just say, hey, let me break into the seminar business, you'd find Social Security's seminar probably the easiest. And rest assured that Dave will make all of the information that you need to be proficient at doing the seminar and proficient at your follow-up afterwards and proficient at answering Social Security questions. That would all be part of that. So if that doesn't answer all of your questions, obviously type it in and say no. There are radio. So we've got a couple folks that are asking if radio is available in their area. There's no way that you can let people know that right off. I mean, I don't know what area these folks are from, but give us the ins and outs of how that works when somebody's interested in doing radio with you.
Yeah. So first of all, we want to make sure that your area is open, and there's many areas that are open. Some are not, of course, because of the program being ongoing. But we look at your area; it has to be 100,000 population or more to make sure we get enough calls. Then we got to find the right station. Normally, it's an AM station. We want the first or second largest station normally in that area, and then you got to find the right time at the right pricing. And then, our production firm, we have a co-host for you, which is nice because that's the color person. It keeps it going. It's the same co-host for all of our people that are doing Retirement Boss Radio. It's a recorded show, and that's really nice. You don't have to be there every single, Saturday morning or every single Saturday afternoon or Sunday at 12. Like I'm doing my Sunday at 12 to 1. That's really nice to have it recorded. And then what we do is the production company, they're the ones that go in and they have advertisements about 50, maybe 10 to 15 every week that promote the show and the name. So you certainly start to get a brand labeling of Retirement Boss Radio. We have some great offers, so it gets people to call in, and they actually call in when, even though it's recorded, they call into a live inbound high touch call center, and that was hard to find, but they're very good. I call that number probably every other week, kind of spy on it, making sure they're doing their job, and they do a very, very good job. And then we have an electronic calendar that is hooked up, very easy to use, very little cost to it, but they don't see your appointments, but they can see the times that you're blocked. And I do it out for the 6 weeks, and all of a sudden you wake up on Monday morning and you got, like, I had 4 new appointments, and it just works. It's a turnkey system, but we teach Social Security claiming in that, if you don't know it, because that's about a third of all the people that we get appointments with gears around Social Security claiming. So it's just really a great marketing resource that a lot of people think is going to be extremely costly, and they don't really go in and kind of uncover of what a great investment that can be as far as getting preset appointments right on your calendar each and every week.
Yeah, as you know, I mean, all the numbers you report to me just feels like that's just gathering momentum for you. And I'm sure some of it's, pandemic related still, but also I think people get to hear you, week in and week out, and people
Right.
you start recognizing, look forward to you. So you're, 3, 4, 5 appointments a week,
Right.
15 to 20 a month. That's a good result for spending $3,000 or $4,000, which is
Oh
about,
yeah,
generally
that's
speaking, the
right.
cost.
But yeah, if I can get 10 or more, I've averaged more than that. But if you can get 10 or more, I will tell you right now, that's a lot of set appointments, and there's just business there. It seems like, even though I still do, of course, seminars, it seems like the quality, the size of the radio client is a little higher than what it is for seminars. Not that I'm denouncing seminars in any way, but they really complement each other. Little bit different demographics who attend or listen to each.
So you've drummed up a little interest on radio. So a couple of questions that I know I can just answer for them. The show is recorded, so you're not doing a live. When you get appointments, because when people call in, they basically are, as Dave mentioned, they go right to a telemarketing group that is booking that appointment for you. So do you get other benefits? Dave would say, it gathers him a lot of credibility here in the Omaha, Fremont area with his current clients and with potential clients. I mean, being on the radio obviously is a credibility builder. That's a side benefit, but that's not the reason for the radio. Dave's radio program is designed to gain appointments. And so
Yeah.
if that's what your cost, so what do you have I mean, I know you got a guy in LA and his cost is one thing and your cost, because I know you're on a couple of different radio stations, but what's the average monthly cost to be on the radio?
I'd say it's 3,500 to 4,000. That's including with everything, all
Everything.
in. Yeah,
Yep.
35. So you're on the radio for an hour every single week, garnering appointments. I mean, it's pretty cool. Yep.
And so show notes, the question was, do you have to be securities licensed to be on the radio? Did you talk about show notes at all?
Yeah, I did talk about the show notes. The show notes are very broad. They're about financial topics. You absolutely do not have to be. Am I? Yes, but you don't have to be. And are the people that just do fixed index mainly? Absolutely. Life, yep. So even some with that really, we have a pretty big Medicare shop that we've started, and so we talk Medicare. So what happens is that the beautiful thing about this is you can, this is your show. You have show notes. Can you vary from those? Yeah. I wouldn't vary a ton. I redo the show notes every week to make sure that it has the information that I think is important. But if you talk about Social Security, you talk about required minimum distributions, Roth conversions, all of those things are kind of hot subjects. We stay on the hot subjects, and those show notes are, you don't read them, but they certainly are. It shows copy in there and bullet pointed, and they're very easy to go from and make your hour go through pretty quickly.
And so whether you're doing seminars or radio, you've got the scripting that you need to be successful. Another question is, do I have to be securities licensed to offer Social Security seminars?
No, absolutely not. Not a bit.
Yeah.
I would say the majority. Of course,
Yeah.
I am, but I would say the majority of people. Would you say the majority of people that do Social Security seminars? I'd say the majority of people, well, at least half of them are probably just strictly insurance licensed. I would guess.
Yeah, it's higher. It's higher than that actually here at IAM. So.
Yeah.
I see there are some people that are trying to register their vote and aren't able to, and then one person made a vote and they want to change that. So I'll just say blanket. Yes, I'll definitely make sure that Dave contacts you. If you are unable to vote and you would like a contact from Dave, if you could do what other couple of people have done is they just asked, you just shoot a question or hit a chat message back and have Dave call me. I'm going to close the poll out. So if you meant to vote or having trouble, give us a call here at 800-255-5055. Just ask for Steve or any sales director. Say, hey, I'm interested in Social Security claiming with Dave or want to talk with Dave Pemper. They'll make that happen. If you saw something else today that piqued your interest, certainly give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. Thank you all for being so attentive. Again, I apologize for the audio impingement on my part.
That's right.
Yeah. And if we can help you, give us a call. We'd love to, whether it's getting you in touch with Dave or helping you with academies or IAMS Wealth, you want the retirement analyzer, we're here to help you. You've already shown that you're wanting to go the extra step to reach your goals for your business, and those are the type of people that we want to help. So give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. Thanks for joining us this morning, bright and early on a Tuesday. I know you're getting fired up, and your sales week is well underway. So that you took an hour with us here this morning is very much appreciated. Let us know how we can help you. Dave, is there anything that you want to add as we close out?
No, just thank you very much for the time. I mean, time is money. You're spending time with us, with with IAMS and with Dave Pimper, the coach. And I'll tell you what, just think about Social Security, how it could help your business. Would love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you, give you some ideas of maybe how it can specifically complement and help your production in your practice.
Great stuff, Dave, as always. Thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule as well. Everybody have a great finish to your sales week.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.